All right, how you doing today? Today we're having some more fun with these chord tracks, using some virtual guitars and stuff like that. Also, check out my channel. I have a playlist actually for Logic Pro 11 as well. I have hundreds of other videos in my back catalog, all kind of music production stuff, all kind of free VSTs and stuff like that. So check that out as well. But anyways, let's get into this. Let's break down what's going on here. So first of all, I got the chord progression over here from the Apple loops. I just picked one, just randomly get going here. I picked this one. I drag that into my project, and that is right here. It's muted, and that has the chord progression in it. So that chord progression was right here. D minor, G minor, D minor, A minor 7, just a 2-bar loop. So I copied it, pasted it over to the next parts of the song. Just, click that, option drag, if you will. And then I created my bass part, my drummer. And then for the guitars, I'm using the Native Instruments Session Guitarist and the UJAM Spark here for the electric. The acoustic is the Contact 7 library, just the strummed guitars. And to get the key switches, this is so easy to get key switches for these guitars. As you can see here, this is just the guitar player right here. It has the chords in there. Just like so. A couple ways to do it. One, you just take the chord here, drag it down into your project, and you have the MIDI file here. You will have to edit this though to get the key switches right for different virtual guitarists or whatever instrument you're using. I had to take the bass notes out, for example, and move these notes up. And that just by, taking these out, deleting them. And then I could take all option shift up arrow key, and then they're just in a different key range where the C3 is where the Native Instruments key switches start. Quick side note here, I keep saying key switches, but I mean the chord changes. The key switches are what you do on the other part of the MIDI file, the left hand area in this particular case. So yeah, sorry about that. Another way to do it is just to create the pad here. You just go over here, keyboard player, hit simple pad, create, and then you could mute the bass note here, the left hand, if you will, and then it gets the bar chords, and then convert that to MIDI, and there you have the same thing basically, and that's actually in the key range that we need already, so I didn't have to do any adjustment. Now there's two ways of doing it. Sometimes I do the other way as well for like pads and arpeggiated effects and stuff like that, but I didn't really use any of that in this track. So then I took that same part here for the UJAM Guitarist, which is down here, Spark. I put it in instrument mode because this one actually works a little different. The key switches are in the same range, C3, but you play the key on the keyboard, your chords on the keyboard rather, which is what the key switches are doing with the MIDI file. Like I'm playing a C here, as you can see on the keyboard. Actually, I could go down. And then you have your notes down here. And you play your picking hand, if you will, with your left hand, which if you're a left-hand guitarist, that's great. But if you're right-handed, you're doing it the opposite way. So basically what I did is I made a whole other video on this too, actually using Spark here, doing it this way. Basically, I just had the chord progression in here. I let it play, and I overdubbed the patterns that you might see here. Well, you might not. Well, you will see here, actually. You might. I don't know why I'm saying you might. They're right there. All this data down here. And it's not quantized or anything. It's like, whatever. The real playing that I did. So that's where that guitar comes from. And then we just had, we have our basic Logic stuff here, drummer, bass player, and then we have everything played together. And then I said, well, when I add a B section in here, different chord progression, so I dragged another loop just randomly to kind of go into, which sounds like this, by the way. I didn't play that part of the song, but it would sound like this. Coming out of the section, first section. Mute that actually. It's kind of a weird chord change there, so I'll probably do a different part for that. And you could use these original loops in there too if it sounds interesting enough to you. And with a Spark guitar, I did some palm muting stuff too. So yeah, and then the same thing here, which is not in this track right now. If you want to do some arpeggiator sounds or some movement, you could create that simple pad chord thing on your piano player and then just find some sounds that are moving. This kind didn't really work with the song here, but you could just play around with it till you find something. Or just do a pad. Or don't use it at all. I think it's pretty full sounding already. You can start writing some melodies on top of it. Maybe mute this part out and just get some lead vocals going on or something. Whatever you want to do. So there you go. Anyways, let me know what you think. I will talk to you soon.